Today we're going to explore how the VA home loan process works from start to finish. But before we start, I'm Casey McKeown and welcome to the Veteran Advantage channel. I'm a proud U.S. Marine Corps veteran and I have had the honor of serving from 2008 to 2012 out of Camp Pendleton, California. Whether you're still on active duty, getting ready to transition into civilian life, or just curious about the benefits available after serving in the military, this channel's got you covered. So go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more future content. But let's go ahead and get started. If you're curious about how the VA home loan works and how to begin the process, there are a couple of key documents that you're going to need. The first, and more than likely the most important, is going to be the Certificate of Eligibility, or COE. Now, this document often gets misunderstood. While having the COE shows that you are eligible, it does not mean that you're pre-qualified for a loan. You still need to go through the pre-qualification process with a mortgage lender who can essentially assess your financial situation and confirm whether or not you're ready to move forward. Now, a lender experienced with VA loans can obtain the COE for you. Now, the second document is the infamous favorite document for us all, the DD-214, which is your discharge paperwork. Your lender will check box 24 to ensure you've been honorably discharged, and for those specific medical discharges, specific eligibility criteria is going to apply, and more information can be found in detailed resources. Now, obviously, if you have not separated from the military, you're not going to have a DD-214. The DD-214 is simply your discharge paperwork showing that you've been hopefully honorably discharged. Now, for the individuals that are on active duty though, they won't have that document, but that does not mean that you can't utilize your VA loan. Now, every single branch is going to be a little bit different in terms of who they allocate BAH for and who they allow to actually essentially live off base depending on your rank and time of service. But if you do qualify and are on active duty, this is not going to be a requirement obviously from your lender because you're still in the service. You're not going to need the DD-214, but there may be additional documentation your lender may need. Now, these two documents, the COE and the DD-214, work together. And if you don't have your DD-214, you can request it through the website archives.gov. Now, having both of these forms in advance will set you up for a successful VA loan process. Now, after gathering these documents, the next step is going to be contacting a mortgage loan originator to essentially begin your application. This application is critical, allowing the lender to evaluate your credit score, your income, and overall financial well-being to determine if you are pre-qualified for the set amount that you're trying to get pre-qualified for. Now, one of the biggest suggestions that I have for you guys is it's important to work with a loan originator or lender who specializes in VA loans. Not all lenders have the expertise needed for VA loans, so choosing one who understands the specifics can make a significant difference in your experience. So if I have one particular suggestion that you take more so than any other suggestion in this video, it's to lean on me. I've been in the real estate industry and obviously been a veteran I've been in the real estate industry for almost a decade. I've utilized my VA loan multiple times, going on what will be my third time, and I have a tremendous network all over the country. If you need a lender and or a real estate agent in your given market, please reach out to me. Now, once your application is officially submitted, the lender will request additional documentation. Now, this quote needs list will vary tremendously by person, but you may have 2 years of tax returns that's required, or 2 months of pay stubs, recent bank statements, your COE, your DD-214, a valid driver's license, and any other relevant service-related document. Though it might seem like a lot, providing these upfront will help the lender process your application efficiently. And after you've submitted everything, the lender will conduct a preliminary review to certify your pre-qualification. This step ensures that you're ready to shop for homes with confidence, knowing your budget and financial limits. It's like being fitted for a uniform that fits just right. The loan should be tailored to your specific needs, including your monthly payment and cash to close. Now, one of the biggest mistakes that I see so many veterans do is they go out and get pre-qualified for $500,000. They go out and buy a house for $550,000. It doesn't work like that, folks. If you're pre-qualified for $500,000, that's likely going to be the top end of your budget. But also make sure that you work with your lender to fully understand what $500,000 means. I'm actually helping, now this particular person is not a veteran, but this can be honestly said about any particular buyer. This buyer is actually having to sell their house 2 years after purchasing it because they can no longer essentially afford the house that they bought 2 years ago. Now, the downside, if you know the real estate market, it was really peaking in the middle of 2022 before all the craziness happened, before rates kind of hit a bottom and started to climb, and at this point have skyrocketed since summer of 2022. Now, the downside with this individual couple is they may be able to walk away scot-free, but more than likely they're gonna have to take a portion of the down payment that they put on the house and actually give that back at closing in order to sell the house. So as I mentioned before, or either work with someone that is extremely knowledgeable on VA loans, or allow me to actually refer you to one, and make sure that you understand whatever you may get pre-approved for does not mean that you need to spend that much. Certainly doesn't mean that you need to spend more than that. You need to sit down with them and get a fair understanding of whatever you're pre-qualified for, what that means on a monthly basis. And if that's obviously too much, there's no fault in purchasing a $400,000 house if you're pre-qualified for $500. Just because you're pre-qualified for $500K does not mean you need to buy a $500,000 house. Now, once pre-qualified, you'll receive a pre-approval letter. Now, this document shows sellers that you're a serious buyer who has taken the necessary steps and provided all required information to obtain it. Now, your real estate professional will help you find the right home, and when you make an offer, this letter signals to sellers that you're well prepared. Now, obviously, the listing agent on that property that is being sold is going to do their due diligence and actually reach out to your lender and make sure that that pre-approval is valid. Now, if your offer is accepted, you'll move into the next phase, which is essentially being under contract, or essentially an escrow. Now, escrow acts as a neutral third party, handle the transaction, and hold your earnest money deposit. Now, this deposit is a good faith measure, and is typically refundable if you decide not to proceed within the inspection period. Now, every state is going to be a little bit different, but that's generally how it works here in Texas. Now, during the escrow period or inspection period, the home inspection is conducted to ensure the property meets your expectations and is safe and sound. If everything looks good, the next step is going to be ordering the appraisal. The VA appraiser will evaluate the property and neighborhood comps to ensure that the value aligns with what you offered. Now, waiting for the appraisal, your loan will be submitted to underwriting. If any additional documents are needed during this stage, like updated pay stubs or maybe bank statements, it's crucial to provide them to your lender promptly. Conditional loan approval means that you're nearly there, but may need to submit some final documents. Now, once all conditions are indeed met, your loan will receive the clear to close status. This means essentially everything is finalized and you're in the final stretch. The typical timeline from contract to close is around 30 days, though this can vary, as I mentioned just a second ago, from state to state. Now, ensuring your lender can meet your timing needs is important to avoid complications, such as paying multiple mortgages simultaneously. And this, once again, is where you need to work with a veteran real estate agent and preferably a veteran lender to make sure that all the timelines kind of work together. But once you go ahead and have that clear to close, you'll go through the signing process, sign for the house, and that house is officially yours. Congratulations. It's something that not a lot of people get the opportunity to do. And because of the VA loan, us veterans are gifted with essentially a 0% down and incredible loan opportunity that a lot of people do take advantage of, but there are still a ton of people out there that don't. If you're someone that is on the fence about utilizing your VA loan, it is one of the best assets that you can utilize. It's far better than a conventional loan, an FHA loan, and to be honest with you, most of us veterans are not buying houses in cash, including myself. I'm going to continue to use my VA loan for the foreseeable future, so make sure that you use it if it makes sense for you. It can be an incredible asset. But that's all I got for you guys this week. Thanks again for watching. Make sure to like this video and subscribe if you haven't already, and stay tuned for next week.